One interesting thing that I've often thought about in relation to myself, but you can also generalize it to anybody, is what truly constitutes a good person. Because I know that because of some of my personality traits, a lot of people in my life that I've encountered throughout life, I should say, didn't like me at all. And I gathered that in their mind, I was a bad person. But in my point of view is that I feel like a lot of people's, the way they assess other people and whether they're good people is incredibly shallow, you know? It really has to do with, there's people out there that will be friends with somebody that is completely immoral, you know, just because they enjoy their company. You know, I feel like most people judge people not really on any kind of, not kind of on criteria that I would consider would deem you a good or a bad person, but more just on, you know, whether they think you're a good time or a pleasant person to be around or what have you. And, you know, people that enjoy people's company will overlook all kinds of crazy shit that they'll do. Like, nobody cares if, you know, if their buddy is like commits adultery or you know, any other, you know, all kinds of immoral behavior, lies, this, that, and the other thing, if they think they're like, you know, a cool guy or whatever. That's the way I've always seen it. But then on the other hand, if you're going to have any kind of self-awareness, you also need to kind of look at it. It's like, well, is that necessarily true? Maybe there are things that I've done or ways that I am that are truly, you know, don't make me a good person. Like, maybe I'm a little too, you know, maybe I'm a little too quick to, you know, speak negatively about other people or whatever the case is. I don't know. I'm not being very articulate right now, and I'm not expressing this idea very well, but because it's a very complex topic that perhaps deserves more than just an impromptu video. But I only do impromptu videos, so this is the best we have right now. But yeah, like, it really raises a philosophical question of what makes you a good person in the eyes of most people, because it's pretty clear that most people, you know, I don't, ever since basically like mostly high school, and then I guess I had a kind of some friends in college, but I didn't really hang around college too long. So I'll just say, so since college, I really haven't had friends. I had some friends in the military, but I could tell a lot of people in the military didn't really like me either. And a lot of that had to do with I was just really driven to go up the chain. I admit that. I mean, I was there to advance, and I did. I wasn't there to necessarily make friends. I made a couple, but you know, it's also clear that a lot of people didn't like me. But that I kind of more understand, because that was in the context of a time when I was just really driven and just really wanted to do well, and I was willing to step on toes to do it. And but like at other times in my life, it was like, especially now, man, like I've really made an effort to be what I consider a good person, but it doesn't feel like it's gained me any currency in the world, you know? I still really feel like I'm being judged on maybe my appearance, maybe just how skilled I am in social situations or whatever. Basically, it just feels to me like people are very shallow and judge people based on very shallow things. But the thing that complicates it is that I feel like that thought in itself is not a healthy thought. I feel like that thought itself makes me kind of not a good person, because I'm really judging other people, and I'm really resenting other people by thinking that. And so I really need to put myself in their shoes and say, okay, so why do they feel this way about me, even though I'm making every effort to be a good person? And I guess I just need to be understanding of the fact that maybe I make them uncomfortable or something. Even though I may do things that do make me a good person, they're not really impacted by that. They're more impacted by just their interaction with me, and they don't find their interaction with me pleasant. So I think it gets more nuanced, where it's like, if somebody just doesn't really like enjoy hanging out with me, but they still say, oh, they don't have anything necessarily bad to say, well, that's fine. But I've just run into some people that like, and of course you have to be self-aware, but you can't put all the blame on yourself. Maybe these people are just assholes, but I've had people that like really just like didn't like me, they really like actively, didn't like me to the point where they wanted some kind of beef with me. And to me, that's just like kind of strange, But yeah, I don't know. I feel like maybe I'm not expressing this as well as I should in terms of, what really makes you a good person. Like, is it that you're a really pleasant person and you say hi to everybody? Because that's what everybody mentions when they say someone's a good person. Like, oh yeah, that guy was great. Like, he used to always like say hi to everybody. He would always like walk around the neighborhood and he would say hi to everybody that he saw, and he always had a smile for everybody. And it's like, do you know what this guy is really doing? Like, how do you know he's not like mutilating animals in the basement or something? Versus the guy like me that like, he just kind of wants to be left alone and kept to himself. But for all you know, I'm sending, hundreds of thousands of dollars to charity or something. You don't know. You know what I mean? Sometimes it just feels like the way people judge other people is not quite right. But is that just a self-serving thought? I don't know. I guess I'm probably going around in circles now. I guess you probably get the point by now. But it is really an interesting topic that I think about. Like, and if there's any way I could get people to respond better to me, but probably at this age not. But I don't know. It's just something I think about a lot.